marathon ordeal. Now they're going to spend somewhere around 7 days without food, okay, without water, without sleep. And there's somebody there watching them, so they are sleep deprived, water deprived, which is almost, most people would die from that, and no food. And that's when they have the ultimate beatific experience. In the Middle Ages, this is all, these Japanese monks, why they're psychotic, right? Well, check out the Middle Ages. St. Teresa of Avila was put into a casket, okay? Catherine of Siena was put into a casket. Who else of the women monks, nuns of the Middle Ages was anorexic? She would eat only a wafer of communion every other day. All right, and Saint Anthony of the Coptic Church. When we go to Ethiopia, which we go there, 6 of the last 8 years with students, we go to Lalibela. That's the city which time forgot. There's no cars there. And there are caves, and in these caves are bones of who? Monks who went there without food and decided to chant in their sacred language, the Giz language, until they would die. Our son Adam taught in Japan for 3 years, and he would go up to monasteries and engage in Zen and whatever, and see also monks who went there for that time. I'll close with a personal story. Jean and I, the first time we taught in India was 1999. And by the way, statistically, that's when India hit 1 billion people. Do you know how many people are in India now? 1.3 billion. Wow. I mean, 1/3 of 1 billion people are now more in India than they were 19 years ago. All right? Well, when we were there, Jean and I had 20 students from around the United States. And we went back into the rainforest to dance with a tribal group, watched elephants, whatever. And then I had a migraine. And I said, oh my goodness, there's no way I can get on the train, an Indian train with a migraine. So I took 4 Excedrin. Don't do that. In 2 hours. And Excedrin has very high in aspirin. And aspirin, you know this, is a blood thinner, profoundly, it may be cheap, it is profound. And I started to bleed uncontrollably from all sections of my body for days on end. I went into a hospital and I cut my hand at the door and the instruments were rusted. I mean profoundly rusted, not a rust spot. I said to Jane, I'll live or die outside of an Indian hospital. This is in the poorest part of India. And then we remember reading about this gal here. This woman, who is now 63 years old, this is when she was about 30-something, she was born with much too dark skin for her daddy. So her daddy tried to kill her several times, and one time when she was 13, he tied her to a rainforest tree, and he thought he had succeeded. Well, he didn't succeed. She went into a coma in which she had a schizophrenic vision, you and I would say this, that she was both the male and the female creator of the universe. Okay, she's a transvestite. She lives her life almost and totally as a woman. She's very feminine, but she also dresses as a guy once in a while, okay? And here, we would send her to the Hershey Medical Center, put her on drugs, and that's it. Not in India, they believed her. And she set up a hospital in the rainforest where I was 26 days. It was shaped like a lotus plant where everybody there worshipped her. Everybody there worshipped her. My physician, for God's sake, had taught at Oxford University and left there, was converted to her movement, and risked his life twice to save my life. I could explain that later. It took him at least an hour and a half one time just to bring me back to life. I owe my life to them. I owe my life to an individual who had a near-death experience in the rainforest of India. Okay, that concludes, unless you have comments you'd like to make. Okay. And I'll do my advertisement again. Be neat to have Bill, maybe, present on archaeology of Jerusalem. I want to comment about Bill and Mary, who were our closest friends at Claremont. There were about like 4 couples, 3-4 couples we got together all the time. Everybody in the PhD program there was from were white males from the East Coast, for whatever reason. The star of the show there, the most brilliant student and personality, is Dr. Bill Herzog.
When were you at Claremont?
Claremont was 68 to 71.
Okay.
Which was after you, I think. Were you at Pacific?
I was at Pacific Lutheran. I graduated in '66.
Yeah. And as you may know, wherever Bill has gone, he's become, by acclaim, the dean of the faculty in Kansas City, and then at the Rochester School of Theology, and then at Ann Arbor Newton. What a terrific human being. If you have his books on the parables of Jesus are acclaimed, they are unique. His position is a unique one. It's not a run-of-the-mill, simply a textbook for students. So I always feel an honor to have known Bill and Mary, and serendipity that we come back here. I teach still for McPherson College in Kansas in the fall semester. Gene just stopped teaching in recent years, and then Bill and Mary having moved to this area. So, okay, you have a neat group here. I'd like to come over if you have other presentations in the future.